Alright, welcome back to the $1,000,000 challenge where I start off with $1 and I'm working my way up to $1,000,000. Got a big video for you guys today. This is going to be a massive video. It might be a little bit longer than usual, but I'm going to explain what is going down today. So, first things first, we've been running a bracket challenge with the Discord community. So if you've been watching the past videos, you've been keeping up with what's been going on. But just to kind of summarize, we started this bracket about 2 months ago. And I pulled 16 strategies from our Discord server, from all of your strategies that you guys submitted, and we put them to the test, head to head against each other, and we did a total of 3 rounds so far. So just a single elimination, winner moves on to the next round. We kept track of everything, we logged all the stats, and today we're sitting on the final round. We have a roulette strategy and a diamond strategy. Now these 2 strategies have won all 3 rounds so far. They have not lost yet. So they've been very consistent. So we're going to run those today to see which one's the winner, and whatever one performs better or wins, they'll end up getting a prize. I'll pay them out in the Discord, but that's for later on in the episode. I'll talk about that. I guess the first thing I want to talk about is where we're sitting at today in the tracking sheet. So before we actually hop into some gameplay, I got to go over a few things. Right now we're sitting at a total balance of $1,279 on day 202. So that makes our 1% profit goal $12.79, and then our stop loss is about $51. That's adding up all of the outside casino apps that I use, the website balance, any sports betting I've been doing, the investment accounts. Balance is an all-time high. I think the previous high was on day 199. We were at 1,277, so we're a little bit above that, $2 above that. New peak balance, pretty massive, feels good. Yeah, and then I wanted to show you guys too, I have some bonuses I claimed since the last episode. So I show any bonuses that are over $2. So I'm gonna pull those up and go through those real quick. So our first bonus was the weekly bonus on the website. We got $3.43 from the weekly. Then I have some outside casino bonuses. This one was wager $1 a day, and then I get some sort of bonus from that. So I wagered $1 on the stock market game, got like 76 cents, and then my random bonus was 5 free spins on a slot. So I run that, and I have a few other bonuses here. And then I want to show you guys a little sneak peek of my sports betting I've been doing. I haven't showed it on camera yet, but I will show that today. So we got $1.47 from that bonus there. This one was play $15 on a casino game and you get $5 in credits. I typically don't do wager bonuses that much because they're usually pretty risky, but I figured $15 to get $5 isn't super risky if I just did a 1.01x on the Rocket, and it busted on the 1.01x with the $5 credit, but still cashed out because I put a 1.01x in. So I got that bonus, which was nice. And then on this app here, I got a $2 casino bonus. So I did the same thing. It's pretty much the same game, but just like a different app. It's pretty much the same thing as Rocket, but it's called FlyX. Do a 1.01x for that $2 bet. And then we run that, and luckily it cashes. So I just try to make those safe and cash them out so I get to keep them. Now here's the sports betting. I literally just took a video of all my current bets that were placed because I have some futures put into these apps, and then I run through pretty much like all of my previous bets, and I scroll through really fast. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm not trying to show you every single bet individually, but just the fact that I've been doing this in the background, just proof that I'm doing it. I don't show these every week because I figured it's kind of boring to like show my bets that I placed last week. I figured most people probably don't really care about the bets that already happened, since like sports betting is very like time sensitive. But I'm gonna run through these. So I just, like I said, I got Fanatics and DraftKings pulled up here. I'm just scrolling through showing you guys I've been doing this. Like, I'm not adding any money to the balance. This is just proof that I've been making these bets in the background, and there's a ton of bets, as you can see. I got FanDuel pulled up now. I know it's like you probably can't comprehend everything that's going on, but I'm just showing my open bets of any futures I have, and then I'm showing all my bets that I've won or lost. And you can see there's a ton of bets. So I've been doing this pretty much every day, with the exception of some days, but pretty much every day I'm throwing down some bets. And I just wanted to show this for proof since I never really showed it on camera, and I figured it's not the most like entertaining thing to watch this, but like I said, this is purely just for proof, just to show everything's legit, that I'm actually placing these bets in the background. So yeah, it's a lot, but I just wanted to show that. And coming into the bracket, we have 2 strategies like I said we're doing today. This is the final round of the bracket challenge to figure out the best strategy from the community. So we have the roulette strategy up first, and then we'll do the diamond strategy, and they're both pretty simple. I'm going to walk you guys through them though. I'll explain how they're supposed to work. First thing is the roulette strategy. So this one was submitted by All Prince. It's his 771 roulette strategy, that's what he calls it. And it's pretty simple. The base bet is 2 cents for every $100, and we have about half of that. We have $51 as our stop loss today, so we're doing about 1 cent as our base bet. On loss, we're going to increase by 75%. The goal is to have a 15 number spread. So I'm using his optimal layout. This is exactly what he showed in a screenshot in the Discord. As you can see on screen, that's what I'm running with the numbers set up. But the idea is to have, from the first dozen, you pick 3 red and 2 black numbers. On the second dozen, you have 2 red and 3 black numbers. And then on the third dozen, you have 2 red and 2 black numbers. And then you're covering the green 0 as well. So that's for a total of 7 black, 7 red, and then 1 unit on green. So 15 numbers split evenly like that. And that is pretty much it. So we got everything set up here. We got the increase on loss 75%. We're starting off with a penny and a half as our base bet. It's a little bit, I guess, more aggressive than his 1 cent for every 50 bucks, but we'll take it. We've been running the same exact setup, the same exact bet size, this entire bracket challenge, so we're gonna stick with it. And then our profit goal for today is $12.79. So let's reset the seed to make sure everything's fair. It's a fresh start here. And then we have our $51 in the bankroll here. This is our stop loss, so we don't go over that. And let's pull up the live stats. And I think we're good to go. Let's not waste any more time. I know I had a little bit of longer intro than usual, but I think it's necessary to show the sports betting. It's a pretty big video today. We got the end of the bankroll challenge, or sorry, the end of the bracket challenge. Bankroll challenge is still $1 million, so that's gonna be going on for a while. Better lock in. Buckle up, strap in. We're about to have a little bit, I think the strategies will be pretty quick today, but the video might be a little bit longer than usual. So either way, here we go. We're gonna start this off. We do an instant bet on, so it's gonna run pretty fast. And so far the strategy has not busted once. We've ran it 3 times. It's profited every single time. So I'm hoping today both these strategies can prove what they're worth and they both can profit. That'd be perfect for the bankroll. I get 2 wins, and then it'd be perfect for the strategies just to prove that they're both really strong strategies. And then we could decide who has the best strategy overall between the 2, and they will get a reward. I'll pay them out in the Discord. I will get in contact with whoever wins, but that's assuming somebody wins today. If we get 2 losses, I think I'll figure something out. But I'm not even trying to think about that. I'm not even gonna consider the fact that they both can bust. We're just gonna expect them both to pop off, get that 1% profit goal, and call it a day. Now this strategy is a very low base bet. We're starting off with a penny and a half. So increase to 75% on every loss. And I think every win is a 6x. So it does take a long time, or it's a 2.4x, sorry. Every win's a 2.4x. So it does take a long time for this strategy to go through and actually hit the profit goal. If it does so, it goes through a lot of bets. So if it does start taking a long time, maybe I will speed things up. There's a nice little dip there. We came back from that thing, thankfully, and we're going another crazy dip here. And it comes back. Wow, that was a pretty big dip. That was a pretty big dip. So yeah, this one's probably gonna run for a while. I'll probably pause the video and then come back whenever this either profits or busts. So we'll be right back in a few seconds. All right, so we're coming to the end here. We're about 30 cents away. I figured I'd start the recording back up and see if this hits the goal. We're really close. I think we have a pretty good chance of hitting this on the first try here. Luckily, 10 cents away, 8 cents away, a couple more wins. There it is. There it is. So we got the 12.79 on the dot. the 1% profit goal. Very good graph. We did have some decent dips, but honestly, I can't even hit them because there's so many bets. But this took over like 1,100 bets to get, and it looks like those dips there aren't really that big. If I had to take a guess, probably about maybe like $4, $3 to $4, just based on the size of that. So not bad at all. Definitely take that. It's a good start to the video. It's the first win. So all that needs to happen now is the next strategy has to win, and we can do a tiebreaker, or if it loses, then we have a winner. So I'm gonna log this into the bracket sheet, and I'll be right back. Okay, so day 202 was a win. We got $12.79, which was the 1% profit goal. The roulette strategy did very well. Moving on to day 203, the balance is sitting at $1,287, and we're gonna use the same profit goal and stop loss from yesterday of $12.79 and $51, just to keep everything even between the two strategies. And looking at the bracket, I logged that in there. We kept track of the stats, and I'll show that at the end of the video. We'll do an analysis of all the strategies that did well. But the roulette strategy profited, and now we're moving on to the diamond strategy. So this is Samson's Diamond Martingale. Very simple strategy. Again, I will tell you how this is set up. It's very simple though. Start off on 1 penny, and what we're gonna do is just Martingale. So on every loss, we double up the bet, and then ideally we're looking for any win will reset the bet size. So anything that from a 2x to a 50x. But he said that he plays a strategy with a $40 bankroll, and he can run it up to like $300 to $400, and his bet size is 1 cent. He recommends going down to 0.001, so a tenth of a cent if you're trying to play a little bit safer. But we're gonna stay with 1 cent. It's worked in the past, and we're just gonna stick with it because that's what we've been doing, and it's worked 3 times already. So this is the 4th time we're going to test this. And again, we're just trying to see the most consistent winning strategy. We're just trying to see if it's going to keep winning over and over again, and if it does, then we know it works. It's not just like a one-time thing where it worked once and we're good. We're making sure this thing actually can win. That's the whole point of this bracket, is to find the most consistent winning strategy, and I think we're good to go. We got this set up. 1 penny is our base bet. On loss, we're going to increase by 100%. We got our stop on profit of $12.79, which is the same profit goal as yesterday. And we got our $51 in the balance just to prevent going past that. It's our 4% stop loss. So if that busts, then it's only 4%. So it should be good to go. We're going to run this. And this strategy does take a while sometimes, unless we get a crazy payout. But let me pull up, while this is running, what the previous numbers took. So looking at our tracking sheet on the bracket, looks like the first time we ran this, it only took 76 bets. The next time was 1,000 bets, and then the third time was 186. So it does depend on how this performs. Obviously, it can go very quickly or very slowly, anywhere from 76 bets to 1,000 bets. So we'll try to not skip this one unless it's taking a very long time, but this one tends to either run very short or very long. And the plan is, after this either bust or lose, I'm going to do an analysis of the strategies that won the whole way through the challenge, didn't have any losses. So we have 3 strategies that did so, and I'm going to figure out which one has the best performance indicators of it being a good long-term strategy to add to my tool belt of strategies that I use for the rest of the challenge. That's kind of the whole purpose of this bracket. Obviously, it's pretty fun, and it was a little bit time consuming. I did it pretty slow, just doing 2 strategies per video, but I wanted to like drag it out and give it, you know, a slow movement. I wasn't trying to like do this all in like one video. Obviously, it takes a while to run these, but it all adds up to the major, like the actual bankroll. These are all obviously taken into account with the whole challenge. But so we've been moving pretty slow because I've been doing two strategies per video. I'm supposed to do like 7 days of playthrough a week. I've only been doing like technically 4 per week running this challenge, since every video I just do 2 strategies. So the plan is, after this bracket video, this will be the last one, as it's the finale, and then I'm probably gonna try to speed things up a little bit to catch back up to where I am actually in the sheet. I've been thinking about how I'm gonna do that. I don't want to run things too aggressively and do like 10 days of playthrough per video or anything, because I feel like I gotta keep my mind in check and run things pretty slow still. I don't want to move too quick and end up doing anything stupid. We have a massive dip coming up here, and it comes back with a 2x. It's good to see. It's getting kind of scary there with that big dip. But yeah, I've been thinking of ways that I want to catch up a little bit. I think at the very least, I'll be trying to run like 4 days of playthrough per video going forward, just so we can move the balance a little bit quicker. Because I always say that I'm like a couple weeks behind the actual recording. So I'm on like day 202 of the challenge on video, but I keep track of all the outside casino apps and sports betting. I think I'm on like day like 220 something. So I want to try to catch that back up, so the sheet's matching up with reality. I guess for the purpose of like recording and the challenge, it doesn't really affect anything, but to me, as I'm making the bets, keeping track of the balance, it's a little bit easier on my end if everything's lined up where I'm actually recording on the day of where the bankroll's actually at. It's just easier for me to talk about things instead of like talking about what I did a few weeks ago. So that's the only reason I kind of want to speed it up. So that's why I'm saying there's not a huge need to like get back on track with the actual bracket, or sorry, not the bracket. I keep mixing up the bracket and the bankroll challenge. There's not a huge need to get back on track with the bankroll, besides just me feeling like more comfortable with it. It doesn't affect the challenge though, or like the numbers really. So in that sense, there's, you know, no big rush to do so, but I do want to try to catch up a little bit. I'm thinking maybe I'll do like some sort of videos like here and there where I just like spend I don't know, like half a day just like running strategies or doing my own strategies, trying to catch back up. But like again, I've done this before where I've tried to do extra days of playthrough. I've done a few videos way in the past where I run like 5 days of playthrough in one sitting, because I don't actually gamble every single day. I usually just do the week's playthrough in 2 separate sessions, since I record twice a week. I know I'm diving really deep into the weeds here, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But there's times where I've ran like extra days of playthrough, and sometimes that is not good for me, because the way my mind works is like I know I'm running 5 days of playthrough today, so I get more aggressive knowing I can lose with the chance of coming back those other days coming up, if that makes sense. So if I'm running 5 days, I might be a little bit more aggressive on playing day 1 and 2, because I know I have other days to like get wins, but that's not good for the challenge. I shouldn't be aggressive like that. But I think I will probably end up going into some old strategies. Before I start the bracket challenge, I was doing my original strategies like way from the beginning of the challenge. I was running those back. So I might run back to that for a little bit just to see how those strategies still hold up. They were a little bit more aggressive since I was on a very small bankroll, like with literally a couple of dollars. But increasing the bet size to match this bankroll will be pretty crazy, because I was like, I think we left off at like when my bankroll was $10 to maybe like $15, and now we're like 100 times that. So yeah, we're like 1,200 almost 300, 1,300. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll plan it out, but I'm excited. It feels good to get this bracket challenge. I won't say like over and done with, but it opens the door up for a lot of opportunity to just do different things and change up the videos a little bit. Since we've been running the same strategies over and over again, trying to find out the best one, I think it's time that we can deviate a little bit and try some new things, or just go back to old things and change up the content a little bit. Another big dip here, comes back. Great to see it. We haven't even been in the red yet, besides that little starting section right there, which was down like 13 cents. So this one's been in profit the whole time. And I think every time we run this, that's a crazy hit. What was that? That had to be a 5x. Let's see if it shows down here. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, I think I missed that big bet. Either way, that did profit though. It was a crazy jump. Every time we've run this, I was trying to say that I think the graph looks different just based on what multiplier you're hitting. But that's awesome. That profited. Very quick strategy. Yeah, that's great to see. So with these both won, I'm gonna have to do a tiebreaker. So I'm gonna log this in the bracket sheet and I'll be right back. We'll do tiebreaker. Okay, so looking at the Bankroll tracking sheet, we're at $1,300 in the balance. As you can see right here, we just hit $1,300, which is massive. We've been kind of stuck at the 1,100 mark for a while. If we go back, we can see we broke the 1,100 mark on day 175. So almost like 40 days later, we've been battling, trying to get through $1,100. We finally broke it pretty recently, around day 195, it looks like 196. So what is that? Almost 20 days we were battling in the same zone, trying to make some profit, get out of that to the 1,200 mark. We did that on day 196. We broke $1,200, and then soon after we just hit $1,300. So that's pretty massive. You know, it's been a long battle trying to get past that, and we're starting to move up in the right direction. On the video today, we profited $25.65 purely just from gambling. The bankroll on this episode went up $22, which is a little bit less because the Bitcoin price dropped about $7. Well, not the Bitcoin price, but our holdings of Bitcoin dropped $7. This is back in the beginning of August, so this is, again, I always track, but it's a little bit behind. So that's really good to see. I did want to show you guys this too. So I don't include the website balance in the bankroll until it's actually done. But if I drag this down here and we come down to, that's just going to include the current website balance for the next few days that I actually been tracking this. If you look at our graph, we're sitting at like day 202, so we're right here, right around this area, and bringing that website balance down. This is where our bankroll has been, and you guys will see this coming up soon, but this is what I've been doing in the background. This is the sports betting and everything, so we're above that trend line, which is really good to see. If I back out, bringing that website balance down, which drops it right here, just because I don't have that $174 included in this, it looks like we're below the trend line, but that's because that website balance is not included there. But yeah, we should be above the trend line, including that balance going forward. So that's really good to see. We're moving in the right direction. We're starting to get, you can see this is an exponential graph, this purple line, and we're starting to stay above that. So that means we're exponentially increasing that bankroll. And looking at this sheet, this is something I've shown a very long time ago. I try to come back to it here and there, but this is like what it would be if we get the Hoy to $1 million, getting a 1% profit a day. This is the tracking column. And really we're on day 200, so you can't even see it. But once those gains, once we get to like 400, you'll see this is going to start going up really fast. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to play the long game, get to that point. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to show you guys a little bit of like take a step back, see the bigger picture. Otherwise, let's look at the bracket. So we ran through all 4 rounds of the bracket. We had 2 winners today. The roulette strategy by All Prince and Samson's Martingale strategy on diamonds. Let's take a look and compare these two. Okay, so looking at the final analysis of those 2 strategies to see who won the whole bracket challenge. We're going to look at the final profit and loss, whichever had the highest profit, whatever had the lowest amount of bets placed, which means it's a quicker strategy, and the lowest max dip, whatever one didn't drop as much, which means it takes on less risk. Strategy 6 was the roulette strategy by All Prince, and strategy 12 was Samson's diamond strategy. So looking at the profit portion of this, which one profited better, we can see that they're very close. They both had the profit goal pretty much right on the dot, but the diamond strategy was a little bit higher. So we're going to give that the win there. And then whatever had the lowest amount of bets placed was also the diamond strategy. Definitely a lot less bets, definitely a quicker strategy, which I like the quicker strategy, so I don't have to sit there as long and test them and run them. And then the final parameter was the lowest max dip. The roulette strategy dropped about 7.8%, which is still really good. Still a really good, you know, safe strategy. Barely dipped at all. That's how much of the bankroll went down. And then it came back, obviously. For the diamond strategy, it went down only 0.25%. Barely even dropped below the base balance of $51. So that's perfect. It had a sweep. And the diamond strategy is the final winner of the entire challenge. So we'll move that on to the final block there. Samson, I will be reaching out to you over Discord, and I will give you a little cash prize for having the best strategy. That's what we want to see. But to compare the 3 strategies that made it to round 3. So these 3 strategies, All Prince's roulette strategy, Samson's diamond strategy, obviously those went off to the final round, but Eyes for You also won, and it never lost. So I included his strategy in the final analysis of the best strategies, because those 3 strategies never lost. Even though Eyes for You didn't get that 4th playthrough, it still was a consistent winning strategy. So what I did is I pulled all those strategies into this graph right here, this chart. And what you're looking at is they all won. So I basically just took the top portion of my parameters that I've been using and just brought them down here for us to do a little analysis on the strategies. So I took round 1 for each strategy, round 2, round 3, and then round 4 for the 2 that moved on. So like I said, Eyes for You strategy only had 3 rounds, but it still won all 3 rounds, and the other 2 strategies had 4 rounds to play through and it still won. So what I did is I added up all those statistics that we kept track of throughout the entire challenge, and I created an average based on all of the rounds that it went through. So what I'm gonna do now is compare the averages with each other to see which one was the best performing strategy over the course of the entire challenge, not just like each round, but we're gonna combine all the rounds together. So I'm not gonna run too deep into it, since we already went over all these in previous videos, and we just went over these parameters today. But looking at the averages, I'm gonna see which one did the best. So for the first one, we have the profit. Looking at strategy 4, the profit was 25.35% on average. On the strategy 6, it was 25.09. And then on strategy 12, it was 29%. So strategy 12, the diamond strategy, did have the highest profit throughout the entire challenge between those 3 strategies that consistently won. And then looking at the lowest bets placed, which is the next parameter, they had these first 2 had pretty high bet amounts. The first one had 1,127 on average, and that you can see that first round really brought that up compared to the other 2. But the strategy 6 had 1,084 bets on average, and then strategy 12 had an average of 403 bets. So that's our winning strategy, and again, it's already won 2 of the 3 parameters. We're gonna go off to the max dip. Looking at the max dip, it looks like strategy 4 on average dropped about 40% of the bankroll. Again, that first round really kind of knocked that down, that average. But strategy 6 had an average dip of about 6.6%, and then strategy 12 was about 6.3%. So again, that's the safest strategy. That makes sense. It's hit all those parameters since it won the entire bracket. I guess that winning is justified. I guess we can look at the second best between the 2. So between strategy 4 and 6, we can just compare them real fast. So I'll do this in baby blue. So I had a better profit, and then this one had lower bets, barely, but it did have a little bit lower bets. And then on the lowest dip, looks like All Prince's strategy won that. So blue's like the second place strategy. Looks like we can justify our first and second place winners, and then our third place winner is the roulette grind by Eyes for You. So those all make sense based on how they placed an actual bracket. You know, we have our first place here, our second place, and then our third place. So that actually lines up statistically with what happened, which is good to see, that there wasn't any like one-offs that made somebody win like unintentionally, or they got like an advantage or anything. It seems like it was pretty realistic, made sense. But yeah, so these three strategies, I really like them. I'll probably continue to use them going forward in my challenge. But I appreciate everyone that submitted strategies. I think it was really cool to run this. I hope you guys did enjoy watching this bracket challenge. I hope you guys had a fun time just as much as I did. Thank you for everyone that submitted everything. Thank you guys for all supporting the challenge, I guess the bracket challenge and the $1 million challenge. I appreciate you guys very much. We'll do something like this in the future. We'll do something fun as we move on. But yeah, I had a good time with this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's going to be it for this video. So thanks again for watching. If you guys have any thoughts or suggestions, leave them below in the comments. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't gamble. It's a losing game in the long run. I don't recommend you try this, but that's going to be it for this one. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.